Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to Aniruddha Tutorials. A tutorial of NEET, AIMS and JIPMER, All India Medical Entrance Examination aspirants. In my teaching classes, I have been discussing about the every line of NCERT textbook and also I'm taking the other references. For the past 5 classes, I have been discussing about the digestion and absorption in the parts 6 parts per hour, and in this class I am going to discuss about the structural aspect of the liver. Structure of the liver. Liver is the largest gland I shall say it is the largest exocrine gland. The largest endocrine gland is the thyroid gland, but the largest exocrine gland is the liver. Liver is bilobed. Bilobed liver. Location, it is present below the diaphragm. That is present below the diaphragm, immediately on right side. On left side below diaphragm we have stomach. On right side we have the diaphragm. And coming to the weight of liver, it is equals to 1.2 to 1.5 kg. It is the weight of liver, 2 lobes and exocrine gland. I am discussing about the structural aspect of the liver now. Structural aspect of the liver. Liver. This is the right lobe and it is the left lobe. In the right lobe we have the gallbladder. This is gallbladder. Gallbladder. And now I am discussing about the structural hierarchy of the liver. See this. Liver is formed by 2 lobes. Liver is formed by 2 lobes. Each lobe contains many lobules. They are called as the hepatic lobules. Hepatic lobules. Here, please make it underline. Hepatic lobules are the structural and functional units of the liver. Structural and functional units of liver. Very much important point. Hepatic lobules are the structural and functional units of the liver. Each hepatic lobule contains the hepatic cords. Hepatic cords. And the hepatic cord, each hepatic cord is formed by the many number of the cells are called as the hepatocytes. Nothing but the liver cells. Hepatocytes are the liver cells. This is the hierarchy of the liver. Liver cells many forms one cord, hepatic cord. Many hepatic cords forms the hepatic lobules. Many hepatic lobules forms a lobe. Two lobes forms the liver. This is the structure of the liver. And these are the two lobes. As I told you, each lobe contains a many number of hepatic lobules. For example, this is one hepatic lobule, another hepatic lobule, and so on hepatic lobules. Each hepatic lobule is covered by the connective tissue is called as the Gleason's capsule. This is the Gleason's capsule. Each hepatic lobule is covered by the Gleason's capsule. Therefore, I want to discuss about the structural aspect of the hepatic lobule now. See this. This is the hepatic lobule. It is one hepatic lobule. Lobule is covered by the Gleason's capsule. Gleason's capsule. It is a connective tissue. Gleason's capsule is a connective tissue sheath. Therefore, obviously, Gleason's capsule is mesodermal in origin. Gleason's capsule, as it is a connective tissue, definitely it is mesodermal in origin. And this is one hepatic lobule inside the Gleason's capsule. Each lobule contains a central vein, and this is called as the intralobular vein. This is the intralobular vein. Intralobular vein. What is that? This is the branch, vein branch that is present in the liver. Intralobular vein collects the deoxygenated blood from the each lobule. Many such kind of the intralobular veins are collecting to form a vein is called as the hepatic vein. In man, as many as 4 number of the hepatic veins are formed, and they are ultimately opening into the postcaval vein or the inferior vena cava and then into the right atrium. Therefore, the purpose of the intralobular vein is to collect the deoxygenated blood from the hepatic lobule. This is intralobular vein. Each hepatic lobule contain many number of the hepatic cords. What are these hepatic cords? See this. This is one hepatic cord. It is a string cord. Each hepatic cord is formed by the hepatocytes. These are hepatocytes. One hepatic cord contains many number of hepatocytes, and I show one more hepatic cord. This is another hepatic cord. Hepatic cord contains hepatocytes, and one more. This is the hepatic cord. And so many hepatic cords are present in the hepatic lobule. But between the various hepatic cords, okay, I show you another hepatic cord. This is the another hepatic cord with hepatocytes. Each hepatic cord contains hepatocyte. Therefore, hepatocytes are forming the cord, hepatic cord. Between the two regular hepatic cords, there is a blood-filled sinus is called as the sinusoid. This is the sinusoid. A blood-filled sinus is called as the sinusoids. Sinusoid, etc. between the two regular hepatic cords. What is present inside the sinusoid? Each sinusoid contains the stellate reticuloendothelial cells. Inside the sinusoid, the stellate reticuloendothelial cells are present. What are these stellate? This is a stellate reticuloendothelial cell. They are nothing but the Kupffer cells. Kupffer cells. Kupffer cells are phagocytic cells. Kupffer cells are phagocytic cells. Therefore, these phagocytic cells are present in the various parts of the body. As long as they are present in the blood vessel, they are called as monocytes. You know one thing, WBC, they can jump out of the blood vessel by one phenomenon is called the diapedesis. Because of the diapedesis, they go to the different parts of the body for getting the immunity. And these monocytes, as long as they are present in the blood vessel, simply monocyte. But when they are migrating to brain, they are called as the microglial cells. In the bone, they are osteoclast. In the connective tissue, for example, in the areola or any connective tissue, they are called as the macrophages. In the tissue, generally called as the macrophages or wandering macrophages or tissue fixed histiocytes. And also they are present in the liver or called as the Kupffer cells. Kupffer cells are microglial cells, osteoclast, monocytes, wandering macrophage, or a macrophage, or a tissue fixed histiocyte. Always they are phagocytic cells which are engulfing the foreign particle phagocytosis. Therefore, these are the phagocytic cells. And this is one hepatic lobule covered by the Gleason's capsule. As it is hexagonal, at every face, every corner, each hepatic lobule contains as many as the 6 number of the hepatic triads are present. It is one hepatic triad. It is another hepatic triad. So there are per one lobule 6 number of the hepatic triads are present. Per one hepatic lobule 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 number of the hepatic triads are present per one lobule. Each hepatic triad contains 1, 2, 3. There are 1. A branch of hepatic triad contains a branch of 1 bile duct and one more, a branch of the hepatic artery and one more, a branch of the hepatic portal vein. Hepatic portal vein or hepatic portal system. A branch of the bile duct, a branch of the hepatic artery, a branch of the hepatic portal system. Each triad contains 3 vessels. One, a branch of the bile duct and one more, a branch of the hepatic artery and last one, hepatic portal system. Among these 3 plus 1, 5 number of the blood vessels. Intralobular vein that comes out because that is collecting the DOB, deoxygenated blood from the lobule, that is where that is it exiting. It comes out. Hepatic bile duct also exiting out, that comes out. Hepatic artery, the artery which is supplying the blood to the liver, therefore that enters into the liver. Hepatic portal vein also enters into the liver. Therefore, amongst 3 plus 1, 4, 2 structures are exiting, 2 structures are entering into the liver. The blood vessels which are entering into the liver are, one is the hepatic artery supplying the pure blood to the liver as well as the hepatic lobule, and one more, hepatic portal system or hepatic portal vein which is collecting the nutrient blood from the alimentary canal wall, gut wall, enters into the liver. Therefore, these are two enters the liver, and one more, one bile duct. This is the secretion of the liver is the bile juice. Bile juice has to come out, entering into the alimentary canal. That is why bile duct emerges out. And one more, intralobular vein. This is the vein which is collecting the deoxygenated blood from the liver and then into the heart. Therefore, two are entering, two are exiting. This is all about the structural aspect of the hepatic lobule, and the lobules are forming the two lobes and then into the liver. And the other points are the structural aspect of the liver. So bile juice is the secretion of the cell. Bile juice is the secretion of the cell, hepatocyte, and from that cell bile juice is been entering into the small tubules. These are the small tubules, many tubules from the every lobule. These are the tubules. All tubules from one lobe. Ultimately, the bile juice entering into a large vessel is called as the hepatic duct. It is the hepatic duct. As it is coming from the right lobe, it is called as the right hepatic duct. It is the right hepatic duct. And one more. These are many member of the small tubules, and from that one more hepatic duct is formed, and this is called as the left hepatic duct. Left hepatic duct. Right hepatic duct is collecting the bile juice from the right lobe. Left hepatic duct is collecting the bile juice from the left lobe. These two, right and the left hepatic ducts, are combined to form a common hepatic duct. This is called as the common hepatic duct. Common hepatic duct. A common hepatic duct is equals to right hepatic plus the left hepatic. You see this, very important. This is gallbladder. Okay, before I discuss about the duct which is coming from the gallbladder, what is the purpose of the gallbladder? Gallbladder is mainly meant for the storage of the bile juice and for the concentration of the bile juice. Therefore, hypothetically or really, if it is a surgery underwent for the gallbladderectomy because of the gallstones or any disease, if it all in one man gallbladder is removed, what happens? Bile juice comes continuously without concentration. There is no obstruction of the passage of the bile juice even though gallbladder is removed. Bile juice comes continuously but without the concentration. Is it clear? Thank you. Therefore, this is the gallbladder. The duct comes from the gallbladder is called as the cystic duct. This is the cystic duct. Comes from the gallbladder. This is the cystic duct. Common hepatic duct plus the cystic duct. Common hepatic duct plus cystic duct. See this. This is the common hepatic duct. This is the cystic duct. Is equals to the common bile duct. It is called as common bile duct. Common hepatic plus cystic duct is called as the common bile duct. It can be written as a CBD. Common bile duct is the CBD. Is it clear? Therefore, from the right lobe of the liver, right hepatic duct is coming out. From the left lobe of the liver, left hepatic duct is coming, and these two are fused to form the common hepatic. A common hepatic duct fusing with the cystic duct from the gallbladder is forming the common bile duct is called as the CBD. See this. And this common bile duct ultimately opens into a duct. Okay, this is a duct. This is the duct. And this duct is coming from one more gland. We discuss it later after this class. But as of now, I have to give some information. Okay, for example, this is the pancreas. The second largest gland is the pancreas. The duct comes from the pancreas is called as the pancreatic duct. This is the pancreatic duct, or it is PD, pancreatic duct. That pancreatic duct can be called as the duct of Wirsung. Duct of Wirsung. Pancreatic duct can be called as the duct of Wirsung. Therefore, this is PD and this is CBD. PD plus CBD forms the common duct. This is the duct called as the hepatopancreatic ampulla, or hepatopancreatic duct, or hepatopancreatic ampulla, or ampulla of Vater. Ampulla of Vater. I repeat once again. There is a pancreatic duct. Main duct of the pancreas is called as the PD. Pancreatic duct can be called as the duct of Wirsung, and the duct of Wirsung plus the common bile duct CBD is equals to hepatopancreatic duct. Hepatopancreatic duct can be called as the hepatopancreatic ampulla or ampulla of Vater, and this ampulla of Vater ultimately opening into the alimentary canal, small intestine. The first part of the small intestine is called as the duodenum. This is the C-shaped duodenum. This is C-shaped duodenum. You see that the hepatopancreatic ampulla or ampulla of Vater is opening into the duodenum, is guarded by one sphincter, and that sphincter is called as the sphincter of Woodeye. This is sphincter of Woodeye or Woodeye. Hepatopancreatic ampulla opens into the duodenum, is guarded by the sphincter of Woodeye. And one more. From the pancreas, there is one more accessory duct. This is another accessory duct directly opening into the duodenum, and this accessory duct is called as the duct of Santorini. Okay, I write here. This accessory duct is called as the duct of Santorini. Duct of Santorini. There is another accessory duct is called duct of Santorini, that is directly opening into the duodenum. And one more. This is CBD, common bile duct. Common bile duct ultimately opens into the PD, pancreatic duct can be called as the ampulla. This duct of Wirsung is also guarded by one sphincter, and this sphincter is called as the sphincter of Boyden. This is the sphincter of Boyden. Sphincter of Boyden, and this is the sphincter of Woodeye, sphincter of Boyden. So this is all about the structure of the liver. Here I do want to tell you the number of the sphincters and the number of the valves present within the alimentary canal. Within the alimentary canal of man are from the top to bottom are as follows. 1. Upper esophageal sphincter. 2. Gastroesophageal sphincter or cardiac sphincter. 3. Pyloric sphincter. 4. Sphincter of Woodeye. 5. Ileocecal sphincter, and there is a valve, single valve, ileocecal valve with the sphincter. Internal anal sphincter, external anal sphincter. Therefore, within the alimentary canal of man, there are 7 number of the sphincters, and only one valve is called as the ileocecal valve. This is all about the structure of the liver. In the class, I also discussed about the functions of the liver. I hope you understand my lesson. Thanks for listening.